Okay, so we'll start with the Aldi shirt story, and then we'll see what we decided for the second story. By the way, if you guys have stories, you don't need the fancy graphics. You don't need the theme music. You don't need a moral. You don't need a funny punchline at the end. If you want to do stories, if you send me your stories, I can put them in the music and the graphic and the email and tell Amy, put them in Google Drive. I'll be happy to put them out for you if you want. FYI. Okay, so the shirt story. Now you know I like to shop at the Aldis. And I tend to go early. Oh, the Aldi's. They open at 8, and I tend to get there. I tend to go mostly Thursdays, 8 o'clock when they open, but not always, but most of the time. They're changing their hours. They're going to start opening. In fact, I just talked to a guy this morning, one of the checkers there. Instead of opening at 8, they're going to open at 9 in October. And he said it's because, it's for hiring people. They don't have enough people to start at 8. I kind of like the early shopping there because there tends to be fewer people, less crowds. Except, when I often get there, I'm the first person there, and you shop. I'm not a slow shopper. I get what I need and I get out. But I've noticed there, particularly over the summer, there's this guy there, and I guess he runs one of those food trucks because he doesn't get the normal grocery shopping that most people would get. He gets like 6 cartons of watermelons and 6 cartons of oranges, or 6 cartons of bananas and 6 cartons of papayas or mangoes, something like that. And so, I get there early, so, one benefit is to avoid the crowds. And I can't tell you the number of times that, I'm there early to avoid the crowds, and I'm like number 2 in line behind him with these crates of papayas. Anyway, so I do love the Aldi, and I'm shopping. I've gotten to know some of the checkers. And so one day this summer, a couple months ago, I go in there, and I noticed they've got new shirts. And I say to this checker, I said, "Hey, that's a nice shirt." I said, "Do you sell them?" You know how some restaurants they sell merchandise. And I was wondering. She goes, "What?" I said, "I kind of like the shirt. I'd like to buy one. Do you guys offer them for sale?" She goes, "Really?" I said, "I kind of like it." So these were her exact words. She goes, "I got you. I got you." I said, "Really?" She goes, "Don't worry about it. I got you." She goes, "You going to be in next week?" I said, Yeah. She goes, "I got you." I said, well, thank you. I'm happy to pay for it. I wear extra large, but thank you. So I don't know if it was next week, but the next time that I saw her there, she sees me and she goes, "Oh," and she recognized me, and she went in the back and she got a shirt. Now she goes, "No, don't tell anyone because we're not supposed to do this." I said, "Well, thank you. Are you sure I can't pay?" She goes, "I got you, darling. I got you, darling." I said, "Well, thank you." I handed her a slip of paper, and on it was my email address. I said, "Listen, I take photographs. If you write me an email, I will send you the addresses to my socials, rather than trying to write them out, each one on Flickr and the Instaface. I thought, just send me an email and I'll send you the links." I said, "Send me an email. I'll send you the links, and just go on my socials, pick out a picture. I'll enlarge it and frame it for you as a thank you." She goes, "Oh, you don't have to do that." I said, "I'll be happy to. You just got me a shirt." I was very happy. She goes, "I'm going to email you." I said, "Great, thank you." So that next week, I was looking for her email, and I even went in my spam folder, which it's like if you ever have to clean out your drain and your sink, you don't want to go in there. It's a mess. Stay away from the spam folder. But I was looking for her email. I didn't want to miss it. Didn't see it. So the next week or the next time I see her at the Aldi, I said, she goes, "Darling, I wrote you." I said, "Well, I didn't get it for whatever reason. I had another slip of paper in case she misplaced it." I said, "Well, I didn't see it. I didn't get it. Here's a slip of paper. You don't have to write. You don't have to do this. But if you want, it'd be my pleasure." So she goes, "I'm going to write you." So the next week she didn't write, so the next week I came in and I said, "Listen, don't worry about it. You don't have to write it. It's not a big thing. If you want, you're welcome to. I'm happy to make the picture for you." it reminded me, I had a shoot for sunflowers out in, Melissa will know, Haymarket. It's like an hour west of the city. There's nothing out there. But I went to shoot these sunflowers one day, a couple of years ago. And while I was there, I saw a young couple. And they were taking pictures of, it was a young father and mother with their kid. And they were taking turns taking pictures of the mother. The mother would take pictures with the dad and the kid. The dad would take pictures with the mom and the kid. And I thought this was kind of cute. So I took some pictures of them. And then I went up to them. I said, you don't know me. I'm a hobby photographer. I thought, it was a nice shot of you guys in the sunflower fields and I thought you might like some pictures. They're in my camera. If you want, if you just email me, I'll be no charge. I'll be happy to send them to you. And the dad was like, really? You do? I said, absolutely. He goes, wow, thank you. And the mom was like, really? She was sort of suspicious. Why some stranger, some guy doesn't know, wants to send us pictures and send an email address. And this day and time, maybe it's best that you just don't give out your email address to some random guy in the sunflower field. Now, of course, I would have been happy to send them the pictures, and so consequently, they never did write back, and that's fine. So I wonder if maybe this checker at Aldi, she decided maybe it's best, and that's fine. But, I got a shirt. I'm happy with the shirt. Okay, that's story 2. We have a second story coming up right now. It's gone from summer to fall virtually overnight, so good thing that I'm prepared. The second story, we'll do the toothbrush story. I have an electric toothbrush, and the procedure, it's about a year plus old, and the procedure is, Bella's running around, is that you use it for a while. If you have an electric toothbrush, you use it for a while, then it needs to be recharged. It's got a little green light on it, and when it needs to be recharged, the light blinks at me. And so I get out the charger, plug it in, I put the toothbrush on the charger, and then the blinking light turns into a glowing light, letting me know that it's charging. So for a year plus, that was the procedure. Use the toothbrush, it needs to be charged, the light's blinking, plug in the charger, toothbrush on the charger, blinking light turns glowing light. For over a year, that's the way we did it. It was fine. And then one day, using the toothbrush, and then I see the blinking light, plug in the charger, put the toothbrush on the charger, and the light's still blinking. Why is it still blinking? So I've got, I take the plug out, I turn it over, still blinking, and I've got 2 outlets by my vanity. I try with the combination of turning the plug over and using both outlets. Eventually it starts, I can see the blinking light turns into a glowing light. Fine. This happens the next 4 or 5 times, okay? Use the toothbrush, it's blinking, plug in the charger, toothbrush on the charger, and the blinking light doesn't do anything. It's still blinking. And so for 4 or 5 times, it's a new game. We're going to try and figure out why aren't we charging? Take the plug out, turn it over, try it again, try it in a different outlet. So 4 or 5 times, it turns into a game. But eventually I get it, and eventually it's charging. Fine, life moves on. So the next time it needs to be charged, now I'm sort of anticipating, next time it needs to be charged, I go through all both outlets, turn the plug upside down, and no matter what I do, the blinking light, it stays blinking. Okay, I have more outlets, so I take it to the bathroom down the hall. It takes a while, but after a number of tries, I turn the plug over, and eventually, try both outlets near the bathroom, eventually the blinking light turns into a glowing light. Next time the toothbrush needs to be recharged, I'm now dreading this. Okay, what's it going to be? So of course I try the 2 outlets in my vanity, turn the plug, no go. Okay, so now we go to the other bathroom, and I play the game, and no matter what I do, the light stays blinking. And so now I'm thinking maybe it's one of my outlets. So I take a lamp, and I have a razor, and I plug them in, and they work just fine. I figure it's the charger's faulty. So I have other outlets in the house. I take it downstairs in the kitchen. No matter what I do, which outlet I use, turn the plug upside down, all I get is a blinking light. I go to the Amazon and I figure I just have to replace it. I see, rather than having to get a whole new toothbrush and charger, I can just replace the charger. It's like $12, $14. I'm a man of means. I'm glad I don't have to replace the whole thing. I order a new charger. I don't have the Prime deal, so I don't have the 2-day shipping. So the new charger takes about 4 or 5 days to get here. And I learn over that 4 or 5 days that the toothbrush is still working. Okay, normally when I get the indication, the blinking light, I charge it right away. I don't leave it for a day or two. So I don't know how long it'll go without on the last charge. It lasted 4 or 5 days. So by the time the new charger gets here, you know, I'm running on fumes. Get the new charger, plug it in, put the toothbrush on the base, and I get, anyone? Blinking light. I have 2 defective chargers. So the next I talk to Melissa, and I tell her the whole story, the whole deal, and I frame it as a what would you do? Okay, so if the whole deal from the beginning, every time it needs to be charged, I got a blinking light, I plug it in, it turns blinking to glowing, it's charging. Now all of a sudden it won't do it, and 4 or 5 times it won't stop blinking. So let's say that happened to you. I ask her, what would you do? And she goes, well, I guess I just leave it plugged in, and eventually the blinking light would probably start glowing. Why, Dad? And so, of course she was right. And that's why I need someone here to help me unmute my TV, because clearly, what do I know? There's no moral to the story. There's no funny ending. There's no funny line. But, you know, if you need an extra charger for your toothbrush, I do have a spare now. That's it. We have 2 stories and an extra charger. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time right here on the YouTube.